What is going on, everybody? It's Wednesday night, and I hope everybody had a good Thanksgiving. I know I did. I'm here in Jersey. I'm from St. Louis, as everybody know, but I was hanging out with some good friends in Harlem for Thanksgiving, so that's why I didn't stream last week. I know everybody was kicking it, everybody was full, everybody was eating. Um, but not just since last week. Over the last, well, over a year now, the crypto markets have been facing a lot of turmoil, a lot of volatility. And I'm going to talk about that day. And I've been a critic of cryptocurrency for quite some time now. Let me sip to that real quick. Now, I'm not a crypto hater or anything. I don't have like a grudge against crypto. A lot of the crypto bros, they would say, I'm just FUD, fear, uncertainty, and doubt. I'm just sprinkling fear into the markets. But my biggest criticisms of the crypto markets have seemed to play out to why there's so much fraud, so much scamming, so much instability. Is I'm sure kind of the point of cryptocurrency is to create an alternative source of money for people to be able to basically depend on when fiat currencies die, when fiat currencies tumble, a way to secure our finances and our currencies. Because ever since we've had currency, ever since we've had money, fiat currency, ever since we've been able to print money, whether that be digitally or paper or whether it's coins and, slowly taking out the gold or the silver or whatever it is that we use in there, inflation and things like that, we can look back and we can see that there's never perfect stability in the fiat currency markets. And so ultimately, cryptocurrency really is just an attempt to bring about some more security. And one of the biggest ways it does that is by using blockchain technology, which essentially is like a record of every transaction that's ever happened within cryptocurrency. And they call it blockchain because when you look at it, it's in a sequence of events in order from time, in order of date. So like a block, like A, B, C, D, E. So anytime somebody transfers money, anytime somebody makes a payment, anytime anything happens, you can check that out in people's crypto wallets. So again, the blockchain is legitimate technology. There are things about it, and cryptocurrency is something you can make money in. It's not like you can't make money in it. If you couldn't make money in it, nobody would be interested in it. But that's the thing. It's something that people need when they think about it. You need to think about it in such a way that this is a stock gamble because cryptocurrency is not money. At least not today, it isn't. And we're going to talk a little bit about that. And one of the biggest issues that people have is they often look at cryptocurrency like this is assured currency, and and oftentimes people will put their savings into it. They'll put a lot of money into it over time. And the biggest issue with the crypto markets, or one of them, is that they're so unregulated. The federal government still has very little oversight. And a lot of crypto enthusiasts don't want any government oversight. But we're seeing that without that type of regulation, without that type of stability and surety that your money's backed by something, that people can't just come in and do all these schemes that they're doing. If there's not some type of spotlight against that, if there's not some type of effort and force against that, then it's just going to keep happening. And that's why we're seeing, basically just pump and dump schemes like pump and dump scams like we haven't in years. One of the most common scams in the crypto world is called rug pulls, which basically is just pump and dump. And again, because the market's unregulated, these things are happening like crazy. There's thousands of coins in the crypto market. And so, they'll get celebrities behind these coins, or they'll get these people who are, supposed to be all the smartest guys in the room. And they'll say, to the moon, this coin's going to the moon. Then they'll get a whole bunch of people to invest in it, and then they'll pull the rug. They'll sell all their coins and they'll try to disappear. And this happens over and over and over again. So I'm going to talk specifically about a number of the coins, a number of the exchanges, and how that's happened exactly. Now, so again, the culture that surrounds crypto is getting rich quick. It's not seen as like a slow, stable investment. It's not seen as like investing into insurance or investing into a company that absolutely has been making money for the last 50 plus years or anything like that. People are looking for a way to get up there quickly. We're going to talk about just a little bit about that. Before I get into these specific coins, I want to make sure that I don't have anything else that I don't want to knock off. So first, I want to talk about stable coins because every type of crypto isn't the same, and I mean it's basically a lot of these coins. Not I'll just talk before I get to the stable coins. Um, these scams that happen in the crypto market really aren't that sophisticated. They're just old-fashioned Ponzi schemes. These coins are worth as much as the money that people put into them, and these exchanges, these crypto exchanges that are basically acting like banks, but not necessarily registering themselves as lending institutions. There's a bunch of issues. We're going to talk about that too. Banks, their holdings are cash, different kinds of hard fiat currencies, gold, silver, platinum, fine art, real estate, land, bonds, stocks, things that are legitimate and tangible. Where, oftentimes these crypto exchanges, they don't have those kinds of holdings. They don't have tangible holdings. They don't have anything but other cryptos. And the value of one coin can affect the value of many others. And that's what happened. That's what's happened several times with coins that are supposed to be stable. Stable coins are supposed to be glued to an asset, typically the US dollar. And the USD stable coin has been the most stable, excuse me, out of all the stable coins. It's actually gone a little bit over a dollar. But the big collapse in the market that happened with Terra USD or Luna, and I'll get into that in a minute. That coin was supposed to be stuck to a dollar, but because basically there was just a bunch of fraud going on, it tumbled below a dollar and that crashed the whole market. So the whole thing about stable coins really is, if they can't stay stable, if you don't keep your liquidity pool, if you don't keep your hands off your liquidity pool, if your stable coin isn't actually backed 100% or more by real cash dollars, then it's a fraud instantly. um because that's the whole thing. We already have currency, we already have US dollars. That's what everybody depends on. So since we already have that, if we can't guarantee stability with these stable coins, then the crypto markets are never going to stabilize in any type of meaningful way. They just won't. So, and ultimately with all these scams going on, what that shows is that the FTC, the SEC, um, they're asleep at the wheel. And there just needs to be much more oversight. So now I want to start with a quote by a senior investing and wealth management reporter named Jamie Royal. And then I'll get into talking about these crypto exchanges and these coins that have crashed, why they've crashed, just so we can kind of see the patterns that are going on in the market. So that perhaps if you are interested in making some money in crypto, which you can, especially with Bitcoin, it's expensive, but if you're able to, this is how to avoid the mess. But the quote is, the best guarantee of a currency's safety is that people will widely accept it in exchange for goods and services. And the only widely accepted currency in the US, indeed, the only price in which products are ultimately denominated, is dollars. And until that changes, that is the truth. So again, let's talk about crypto exchanges. Crypto exchanges basically are like banks. You do your online banking, but with crypto. And people pretty much use stable coins to purchase other kinds of crypto. Whether that be Bitcoin, whether that be Luna. Well, Luna's gone now. Tether, Dogecoin, whatever. Then I'll get into these. Whatever it may be that people were buying or are buying, they buy it with the stable coins because again, the stable coins typically are glued to $1. So these exchanges, they go on back and forth on these crypto exchanges. Like if you want to buy 3 Bitcoin, you'll cash out X coins, and then you'll buy those Bitcoins with the stable coins. And again, the stable coins are worth $1. So they're not real banks, but they're posing as banks basically. So some of the exchanges, Binance, FTX, which we all have been watching, and I'll talk a little bit more about that. OKX, KuCoin, Gemini, Crypto.com, Kraken, Coinbase, Bityard. Those are just to name a few. And the issue that these exchanges have been having over and over again is that their reserves, their holdings are not backed by US dollars. Maybe somewhat, they'll be backed, and I'll get into that again. But the problem is that if your holdings aren't 100% backed by dollars or 100% backed by something that you can instantly turn into dollars, then it's all a farce. It's all a scam. It's all a fake. Because when people rush to the bank, they're not going to be able to get it. And again, like I said before, the difference between a crypto exchange and a real bank is that a real bank, yes, they don't have all of everyone's cash on hand at the same time. However, what are their holdings? Gold, silver, platinum, bronze, fine art, land, real estate, stocks and bonds. Again, things that literal buildings, whatever it is, they have things that give them power, that give them wealth, that give them establishment, old money, and again, more importantly, cash. But the problem is that often these exchanges and these coins, they'll say we're 100% backed by the US dollar. But then when it comes time to show those papers, either they'll avoid it completely, or the papers will show, oh no, they're not all the way backed by US dollars. And then naturally people get that news, they rush to the bank, the crypto exchanges can't pay them. What does that sound like? A Ponzi scheme. Because again, it's not just the crypto exchanges, it's the coins themselves. With stable coins, the stable coin that's been the most stable is a USD stable coin. That has maintained its value pretty much perpetually, and again, it's even gone a little bit above a dollar. But pretty much all the algorithmic stable coins, all of them have failed. All of them have crashed because it's just a scam. Because what all the algorithm does is eliminate it's supposed to eliminate a stable coin anytime a dollar is used and vice versa. That way, you don't have like a huge pile of crypto coins that aren't being eliminated along with the dollars. But that's what happens. They don't eliminate the dollar and the stable coin evenly. So with these algorithmic stable coins, what happens is they'll just start letting the coins pile up. All the coins that are supposed to be deleted, right? They'll let them just pile up, which again is fraud because that money isn't backed by the dollars. So they end up having, all these percentage mismatches. It's just fraud. That's just a Ponzi scheme. The coin is only valuable. The market cap, crypto market caps is however many coins are mined times the price of the coin. So if there's 1,000, hypothetically, it'd be a lot of coins. So let's say there's 1 billion coins, and the price of each coin is $2. Then the market cap is 2 billion. 1 billion times two. There's 1 billion coins. The price is two. That's how the market caps work. You see, so they'll come out with these coins, and there's all this hype. Again, because I just said these coins aren't backed. Sometimes the USD stable coin has been most strongly backed by the US dollar, but these coins that'll come out, to the moon. A month later, it's like, oh, we have a market cap of $950 million, and it's like, how? That's only the case as long as people are confident and they keep throwing their money into it. But as soon as that stops, because these coins are lying and they don't have all of this cash on hand, and they're not keeping it balanced. As soon as people lose hype in the coin and the product, it crashes. They pull the rug, they dump, they sell, and everybody gets screwed. And this has happened over and over again. And I'm about to get into those companies specifically. including Binance, which hasn't crashed, but they're not all the way out of the hot seat. And Terra USD, Luna again, they weren't backed by cash as much as they were backed by other cryptocurrencies. They lost a third of their value in May, and they spooked crypto investors, and that's really one of the biggest things that led to Bitcoin tumbling below $30,000 at the time. Right now, Bitcoin is seven as of the recording of this podcast. Bitcoin is at $17,147, but that crash happened because Terra crashed because they were using those Luna coins again in the exchanges to purchase all of these other cryptos. But if you can't keep your stable coins stable, then what are we talking about? You know what I mean? And again, that kind of goes to the point. It's like, if you don't solve that, then this won't stop. It just won't. So I'm going to list the largest cryptocurrencies by market cap, not all of them, and then I'm going to go into some of the collapses. So we got Bitcoin, which I said as of today is $17,147. Then we got Ethereum. Then we got Tether. Then we got USD, BNB, Binance USD, XRP, Dogecoin, Cardano, Polygon, Polkadot, and Dai. Okay. Now let's get into some of these scams. I'm gonna read the details of how a lot of these coins and exchanges have gone down in flames. So we'll start with Thodex, which was a Turkish crypto exchange. $2.2 billion gone overnight. And one of the reasons why Thodex was sold well, excuse me, one of the reasons why Thodex sold and did well with the Turkish people initially is because the Turkish economy, um, they suffer from very hard inflation that's risen to over 30% before. And the citizens of Turkey, therefore, needed a place to park their money that could be a bit more stable. But again, that cryptocurrency is not stable. So Thodex was an exchange that people could use with their crypto. It attracted 700,000 users. And again, it was a place where they wanted to safely park their money. But kind of out of nowhere, the website announced that there was going to be a pause in transactions for 4 to 5 days, which set off a panic. The founder was seen at an airport attempting to disappear to Albania, and Witchstream, which is a blockchain research and whistleblower company, they found that between August 20th and February 2021, August 2020 and February 2021, 5,000 Bitcoin or $125 million at the time uh, was sent from Thodex to Kraken, which is another exchange, which looked to be a cash out operation. So what ended up happening was the founders of Thodex, they ended up selling Dogecoin on their platform for cheaper than it was in the market at the time. They sold it then cheaper for what it was. They cashed out and they dipped. They created this platform that was supposed to be of help to the citizens of Turkey, but instead they cashed out and they dipped. Why? Because they could. Now let's talk about Tether. All right. Now, the thing about Tether is that it is the backbone of liquidity in the crypto market. And again, like I explained before, stable coins are used in exchanges to purchase other kinds of crypto that aren't stable coins. So if let's say you wanted to buy one Bitcoin, which is a little over $17,000 today, you would buy that with 17,000 plus stable coins. That's how you would do it, because again, this happens digitally and electronically. So that is why that's such a big issue, that crypto has to find a way to keep the stable coin stable, because if you can't keep your stable coin stable, then you can't effectively purchase any of these other coins. So again, now Tether, the backbone of liquidity in the crypto market. And the main way that people buy cryptocurrencies, like I just said, and they have a larger trading volume than Bitcoin. They're not worth more than Bitcoin, but again, Tether's traded more because, again, these are worth $1 and they're being used to purchase all of these other coins. So Tether stable coins, they're supposed to be eliminated upon exchange for USD to maintain true reserve balance. Like I said, if you use, if you use, let's say you use 5 Tether coins, you use 5 of these stable coins. After you spend them, or they're supposed to be eliminated in the database. So again, so that that coin reflects the true reserve, but they don't do that. They don't eliminate the coins, and it doesn't reflect the real number. So the value gets all thrown off, right? So Tether's terms of so we'll get it. Now we're going to get into the nitty gritty of how a lot of this happened, right? Um, so Bitfinex, they had a big crash too, and they were started by a bunch of known scammers, and they were, and again, in which Bitfinex and Tether were in bed together, and Tether was the backbone of is the backbone of crypto. So within Tether's terms of services, they stated that they reserve the right to not return or redeem anything. They, word for word, they say Tether reserves the right to delay the redemption or withdrawal of Tether tokens. And they also go on to say Tether reserves the right to redeem Tether tokens by in-kind redemptions of securities. So basically, when shit hit the fan, right? And people started wanting to withdraw, they were like, nah. They don't really have to do that. It's in their terms of services, even though they advertised otherwise. They advertised otherwise, but in their terms of services, they said, man, we don't really got to get this back to you. Tether actively avoided audits of their operations, which obviously is a red flag. People need to know that this crypto is actually backed by real US dollars in 100% as much as they say, and not by other cryptocurrencies. But they're like, no, 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 we want to avoid these audits, right? So the collusion between Bitfinex and Tether um, basically was to infinitely print Tether stable coins to purchase Bitcoins and never redeem the Tethers afterwards. So a huge pile of unbacked Tethers that should have been deleted sit around to be fraudulently spent. So again, they're supposed to delete the tether coins after they're spent, but they don't. So they just pile up and pile up and pile up, and they print more and print more. And they have all this fraudulent money that they're just using to purchase and put, profits into their own pockets. Why? Because the markets are not regulated heavily enough. And when people can, they do. That doesn't mean everybody is going to do things or be unethical. But if they can, there's a good chance that at least you're going to attract people who will be. And that's the issue with these companies. So again, that was a collusion. That's what happened with Tether, right? They weren't eliminating their coins. They were just printing them out and spending them as they please, which screwed up the value of the reserve, which ultimately screwed up everybody's money who invested in the coin. A 2017 lawsuit was filed against Wells Fargo. Well, rather, a 27 lawsuit that they filed against Wells Fargo indicated that both Bitfinex and Tether had no banking. Despite this, Tether continued to issue tens of millions of dollars of Tether, even though neither platforms could receive transfers from the bank. And they still got no audit after that. So what that means is that neither Tether nor Bitfinex could receive cash from the bank, but they were still giving out loans and they were still giving out exchanges on their platform. So people are just wasting and losing their money into the ether at this point. And they still didn't get an audit because these companies are not regulated heavy enough. So again, this is what they did. When they did get an audit, to show the proof of funds, this is what they ended up doing. They used an account that was live for 1 day to show proof of funds. So this is what they did. They sent $383 million into this account that didn't exist the day before. So they just move them again, Ponzi scheme type stuff. They don't actually invest the money, they just move it around. So they created this account, and then that day they transferred $383 million to show on the receipt that there was money in the account, even though that account didn't exist the day before. What is that? Ponzi scheme. That is a scam. That is purposeful. That is not an accident. They overprinted the tether coins that they were supposed to eliminate just so that they could buy Bitcoin with money that wasn't backed, or rather with coins that weren't backed by US dollars at all, even though they were supposed to be. And then they were just shuffling the money around. Just broad open just theft. That's all that is. They eventually were fined $41 million in 2021 for lying about their stablecoin being 100% backed by actual currency. So I could talk about that all day, but we got a lot more to talk about. So let's talk about Celsius. Celsius, they artificially inflated their company's holdings. Liabilities actually exceeded their assets since February 28th of 2019. So of course they didn't really want to show that. So they just artificially inflated their holdings. Again, these holdings that aren't real holdings. They're just other cryptocurrencies whose volatility is through the roof. It's it's just a bunch of fraud. It's just fraud. Customers with Celsius ended up losing $5 billion, and that set off other coins to crash. Reported $4.3 billion in total assets, but $5.5 billion in liabilities, including $4.7 billion it owed to customers. So they just lost everything. Again, Ponzi scheme, fraud. Bitcoin savings and trust. This is an older one. Trenton Shavers was charged in 2013 for the Ponzi scheme. He raised 700,000 Bitcoin between 2011 and 2012, which amounted to $4.5 million at the time. He promised investors 7% weekly interest, but they lost all their money because he took it. Shiba Inu tokens held a $13 billion valuation. It plummeted nearly 75% in value. OneCoin. Let's talk about OneCoin. This is one of the early crypto frauds. This launched in 2014. Millions of investors were defrauded in $4 billion Ponzi scheme. The founder, Ruja Ignatova, she disappeared in 2017. She ended up going on the run. BitConnect launched in 2016, hit an all-time high in December of 2017. A few months later, it was worth nothing. Another Ponzi scheme. Aggressive marketing promised 5% to 1% returns in one day. And again, a lot of these schemes will promise 10 plus percent returns in one day, which again, nobody can promise you that. So if someone's promising you returns that large, you know that's a scam. Internet computer skyrocketed. That's a coin. Internet computer skyrocketed to $45 billion, their market cap, and became a top 10 cryptocurrency virtually overnight, but the prices ended up tumbling by 90%. And again, this is a recurring pattern that you see because, again, one thing that I've learned, and not just from judging others, also myself, when people can, they will. That doesn't mean everyone will, but if there is an entire market that is not being regulated, you are going to attract fraudsters and scammers. You're just going to. And so, again, that's why pretty much all of these crashes in the crypto market are the same song over and over again. It's unsophisticated Ponzi schemes. It's just pump and dumps. It's just rug pulls. Excuse me, even on the exchanges. That's all it is. They're supposed to keep things stable, but if they did that, there wouldn't be nearly as much profit in it. And then they end up just sucking in everybody's money. And when it comes time to deliver, they don't have it because they stole it. It's really that simple. Now we're on the safe moon. That in 9 months, they got a $3 billion valuation. Okay. And again, you got to think about this type of stuff. And other companies where they are actually producing things that are with tangibility, you don't grow that quickly. Like you just don't. That doesn't happen. In less than a year, that's just pure speculation. And I'm not even getting into all the other issues with this coin specifically. But again, they plunged 70% after amassing a $6 billion market cap. Now we get into Luna. And the Luna Terra USD crash, that set Bitcoin off a lot earlier this year. Again, the coin that's supposed to be stable, that's supposed to maintain its dollar range. Well, they don't do it because then there's not a lot of profit, then is there? So here we get into to Terra and Luna. $45 billion valuation lost in 1 week. And this goes back to the algorithmic stable coin. that have failed continuously. These coins that are supposed to be kept stable at $1 by an algorithm that prints and eliminates Terra Luna coins. And like it's whenever you see things that are too financially complicated, it's because of some bullshit. Okay. Okay. So that's why algorithmic stable coins are always failing because they're not tied to a dollar in a reserve in a liquidity pool. And even the coins initially that do keep their liquidity pools untouched, eventually they reach their hands in there because no one's watching them. When people can, they do. So Terra Luna lost 95% of its market cap in just 1 week. Again, they were the stable coin backed by the algorithm and not the USD. This coin was supposed to maintain $1, but it ended up plunging to 23 cents. It's supposed to be locked at $1, but it plunged to 23 cents because they weren't eliminating the coins after they were being spent. After these stable coins are spent, they're supposed to be eliminated so that you're not just stockpiling money, ghost dollars. But that's not what they did. They didn't eliminate it. They just kept printing the money. They use Luna as collateral. That's Terra USD. Luna was purely created for being collateral for Terra. Do Kwon was the founder. He was the guy who was calling everybody poor, and he'd be all over Twitter calling everybody broke, calling everybody poor. Whoever criticized would be like, "You motherfuckers is broke." Oh, that's hilarious because now look at him. Oh man. Then we got Mark Cuban. Mark Cuban's 0 for 2 in the crypto world. And one of them that he lost with is iron titanium from $64 to 0.01 cents. Oh no. I gave it too much credit. I didn't read that right. Iron titanium went from $64 to 0.01% of a penny in one day. Good old Mark Cuban, he's supposed to be a genius. Why? Because he's rich and white. So we should just listen to him. Apparently not. So again, the company grew way too quickly. They grew quickly to the point that $7 million in interest was paid out every day. And again, this is back to Luna. This is back to Terra USD. 7%, $7 million in interest was supposed to be paid out every single day, and he wanted to keep a 20% return rate. That's not sustainable. It's just fraud, 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 fraud. That's all it is. And it's again, it's like the more you look into it, it's like this fraud isn't even sophisticated. These people are just hyping up their coins, influencing people to give their money. They don't invest it the way they're supposed to, and they put it in their pockets. Like it's really not more sophisticated than that. It's really not. So again, people piled in during the 2021 crypto crash, and the yields and other coins dropped. So when Luna and Terra USD when they crashed, everything else crashed. Which again, that's one of the biggest issues with the crypto market is that all of these coins are being set off by other coins. So it's like who can make money in this market except for rich people, more importantly, who are scamming. How else are you supposed to really have any confidence in this? Like right now, Bitcoin is worth a little over $17,000 at the time of this recording, but it was over $30,000. It was well over that. So again, it's like regardless, you lost money. Like so like unless you're looking to do a quick pump and dump scheme, there's really no way to make money in this until stable coins are truly stable. There's no way to really make money in this investment until there's not 1,000 trillion crypto coins. There's no way for the market to be stable. There's too many damn coins and there's too much fraud because there's not enough regulation. And for all the people who don't want regulation in the crypto markets, well, this will continue to happen until people just totally lose faith in it. So if you want people to believe in crypto at all, I mean, it still ain't money. It ain't gonna be money. You know what I'm saying? It's a stock that you can turn into money. But if you want people to use and believe in crypto at all, you're gonna have to get with the fact that there needs to be regulation and centralization. Otherwise, it's just gonna continue to attract people who do Ponzi schemes. Now we're gonna talk a little bit about the highlights with FTX. I know you didn't heard a lot about it, so I'm not gonna go on and on too much about it. But again, just to show how easy it is to do stuff like this when no one's watching. Okay. So at any point, FTX didn't know how much cash it had on hand. Again, this is a multi-billion-dollar company. Sam Bankman-Fried, the guy who's supposed to be the genius, the most generous billionaire in the world, the guy who, he knows it all. Yeah, well, we don't really have accounting here. Get the okay. So again, here we go. Payments were confirmed with emojis, and payment requests were submitted via online chat platforms. So that's really professional. That's some grade A record keeping right there. I'm gonna go and I'm gonna look at May 20th, 2021. Oh, smiley face smiley face and a sunglasses emoji. There we go. Now I know what that means. Okay. Well, he gave himself $1 billion loan and cashed $300 million from a $450 million loan. So there's that. He just gave himself $1 billion out of his company, and then he got a $450 million loan. He just took 300 million of it. Because that type of stuff just accidentally goes down all the time. You know how that shit is. You know. Okay, here we go. Again, like I said, very few records were kept and often deleted. Oh, no red flags there. Deleting company records, which again, that doesn't happen unless you're deleting something you don't want people to see. Otherwise, companies don't do that. It's not in your interest whatsoever to get rid of records unless it's illegal shit that can get you in jail. They didn't maintain centralized control of cash. A multi-billion dollar crypto exchange platform that didn't maintain a centralized control of its cash. Absence of accurate list of bank accounts and account signatories. So basically, that means that they didn't really know whose money they had for real. Like, oh, well, like somebody could literally go be like, I got X amount of money in there. I mean, luckily the blockchain exists, but that doesn't mean that they have good organization of it. So it's like, again, this is the guy who was the genius, and it's incredible. It's amazing. They didn't keep proper records of employees and contractors. So again, that means that they not only do they owe investors money, but they definitely still owe contractors money. And then I'm a contractor, so that means you don't always get paid at the same time necessarily because like it's not a salary. But if you're not keeping track of your records properly, then that could mean that you never get a check. And as we know, Sam Bankman Fried then lost billions of dollars, so they wasn't getting that money anyway. Okay. And homes for employees and advisors were purchased with company funds up to $300 million. So again, the reason I list this out is because this is what happens in an industry that the federal government is not regulating properly. It's incredible. The more you look into it, it's like this again, it's not sophisticated, it's not complicated. Um it's just a bunch of crypto chuds stealing people's money. That's all it is. Now we're going to talk about BlockFi. I got a few more. BlockFi, which is a crypto lender. Again, you're going to have problems if you're posing as a bank, but you don't really want to register yourself fully that way because you know that you don't have all the holdings. So that you know you're going to have to protect your ass down the line. So let me not register myself properly. I mean, again, that shows intent. That shows that you knew what you was doing from the jump. You know what I mean? Like stuff like that is not coincidental. And if you're going to be a holdings company, if you're going to be an exchange company or a lender, you have to have real holdings. They can't be crypto coins. Who look today, for instance, today Bitcoin's value is over 17,000, but last week when I looked at it, it was at 16,000 something. So again, it's like all of your holdings are coins whose values is like this. Nah, nah. So BlockFi, they filed for chapter. They just filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy on Monday, and they got tied up in the FTX collapse because they agreed to provide BlockFi with $400 million credit line in June, because they needed that when the crypto market took a hit earlier this year, which made BlockFi financially entangled with FTX. BlockFi suspended withdrawals a few days after FTX's collapse. So again, it's not it could be easy to be like, oh well, they had their money tied up in the FTX, but don't overlook the fact that they didn't have any damn money. Even though all the and again, I'm gonna get into these numbers. They didn't have any money, even though they had all these customers, even though they had all these people spending money on the platform. Nah, these people are scamming. Okay. So as of 2020, so here we go. As of 2021, BlockFi claimed more than 450,000 retail clients who could obtain loans in minutes without credit checks. Oh, well, that doesn't sound like a red flag. You're giving people loans who can't qualify for loans at real banks. Okay, that should scream red. That is a scam. That there is a reason, whether you like it or not, why everybody don't qualify for to get loans. Now, obviously, there's issues with the system, but willy nilly giving out loans left and right to that many people who probably can't qualify for them is a problem. That is a problem because you're giving away money that you can't get back. So again, it doesn't matter that. Okay, so what? They didn't get their $400 million loan from FTX. They're giving out loans to people who don't have any money. So either way, their business practice is ridiculous. Okay. $100 million settlement. So again, so this is BlockFi. So they ended up doing $100 million settlement with with the SEC in February, with BlockFi's lending arm over registration failures. They were offering loans but failed to register them as securities or to register themselves as investment companies. Okay. And BlockFi also made false and misleading statements about the level of risk in its loan portfolio and lending activity. And when you see stuff like this, you really kind of come to the conclusion to where it's like, how are these companies allowed to operate? These companies that whose valuations are going into the billions in a handful of months, with this to the moon get rich quick culture where they have these celebrities that they stampede in front of the camera and they say you're going to get rich really fast if you put your college savings, put all your work savings into this crypto platform. um, but at the same time, these platforms don't register themselves as securities exchanges. They don't register themselves as lending agencies. And they purposefully don't eliminate tokens they're supposed to eliminate upon exchanges. From the jump, these people had the plan to commit fraud, but they thought they would get away with it. So again, like don't give these people any grace that they don't deserve. Because when you see that this is happening so repetitively, you know that these people are coming here with the purpose to rip people off. Let's talk about Genesis. I got two more. Genesis. They're going bankrupt. They just hired they brought on advisors to help address their liquidity crunch from Alvarez and Marshall consulting firm and the Clearly Gottlieb organization. Um, they have $175 million of assets that were stuck at FTX. But again, that's a cheap scapegoat. It's a cheap scapegoat. You can say, "Oh, we're ruined because of FTX," but FTX is doing the same practices that everyone else is doing. So it's only a matter of time before all these other platforms go down as well. Um, they halted Genesis halted their withdrawals due to liquidity issues during a time when they had $2.8 billion in active loans. So again, you got to remember, people are putting their life savings into these things. People are really believing they're going to go to the moon with these cryptocurrencies, and they ain't. They ain't. Voyager, that was Mark Cuban's other failed crypto venture. It amassed 2.7 million verified users, claimed they could weather any bear market. That's a huge red flag. We can weather any bear market. No, you can't. If anyone claims they can weather any storm in the financial markets or in business, period, I mean, that's what they said about the Titanic. So well, we don't even need to elaborate that much on it. When none of us can weather the elements butt ass naked, we all need shelter. They also said they could guarantee 10% yields because the investment clients were so top notch. No, they weren't. They were just moving money around various accounts like all these other people. Yeah, again, when you really look into these scams, it's like they're not sophisticated. They're just taking people's money, not investing it, and instead putting it into accounts. That's all they're doing. It's absolutely incredible. So again, there's a few more notes on the coins, but I pretty much just today I went over um a number of coins and cryptocurrency exchange platforms that have crashed because I wanted people to kind of see the patterns, see the repetition, and see the intent and the will behind all of this so that you can understand that whether it be in the crypto markets or the housing markets, when these types of things happen, it's not a coincidence. They're doing it on purpose. This is why the crypto markets need regulation. And even if and I'm not even saying that from the point of so that crypto can work. I'm saying that from the standpoint of millions of people want to see crypto work, and they're getting their life savings taken from them. Rich people, the multimillionaires who are profiting from the rug pull, pump and dump schemes, whatever money they lose, they can deal with it. But a lot of people are, yeah, investing money that they can't afford to lose into these schemes, and there's something needs to be done about it. But again, I wanted to just kind of go over that, talk a little bit about the biggest issues facing the crypto markets, the fact that they are continuously attracting scammers and frauds because of the lack of regulation, the fact that the stable coins aren't stable and that crypto needs to find a way to stabilize them. And talked a little about how these companies scheme. And on my next podcast, I'm excited about the next one. I'm going to talk about stereotypes and not necessarily like specific stereotypes, but kind of why our minds work that way. What's the point of them? What's the evolutionary purpose? How do we use them? Are they all bad? They can't all be bad. I mean, is it seeing a lion in the wilderness? It's a stereotype that is dangerous. So again, we're gonna talk about kind of where it came from, why we have them. You know what I'm saying? But also, we're obviously going to talk about how stereotypes can be detrimental and negative, and not just in a sense of causing physical harm to people, but how they can lower the quality of our own personal lives. Maybe we could have had better friendships, better relationships, or just better experiences overall had we not believed a stereotype in our minds. So I'm really looking forward to that episode. I think it's going to be really interesting. But I wanted to talk about crypto tonight because we're going to continue to see these scams, including with Binance. It's pretty funny because the CEO of CZ, the CEO of Binance, he was all out told like, yeah, we just got done, we just got FTX out of here, but then it turns out that most of their reserves are their own useless shit coins as well. And then he too went he too went went on Twitter and started calling people broke for criticizing him. That's what Do Kwon did, and not too long after that, his whole thing went down. So it was like people are criticizing you legitimately, and you're like, "You motherfuckers is broke, criticizing me because you bitches is poor." Like, it's not a good argument, man. But yeah, I'll definitely keep my eyes on that. But yeah, I'm gonna chop up this content. You can download, you can follow Politics and Paper. It's available on all the streaming platforms. Tell your friends about the channel. I appreciate everybody for showing love on it. And y'all have a good rest of the week.